Oh my gosh, this is gonna take a while to finish and animate and put it in game. Hi, welcome to Play It Forward. I'm Zon, the Daddy Dev. This channel basically does marketing stuff. We have Swenny, the mad marketer, who's not with us today, but we're going to branch out, and with this video series, we're going to be looking at how to make a character for a game. So Swenny and I are started working on a game project, and just wanted to look at how do you make it from start to finish. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look at different artists and whatnot, and really consider kind of body types. So this is Brawlhalla, and Brawlhalla has different characters which all look unique, but the body types are the same. And that again is by design and probably for animation purposes. Other things you want to consider when you design stuff is how would these characters animate. The thing about it is that Overwatch, being another example of different body characters, but with different body types, does it a lot better because they're really using 3D to push the different type of figures that you would see from people. And in this case, their women are great because they have different types of body shapes for that represent actually all the types of women that you'd see in real life. So much so that when you translate that style and you make it, say, 2D like Fizzodad did, you can still see the body types really sell the characters who they are underneath the armor and the weapons and everything else that makes that character unique. Again, I totally love the character designs from Overwatch, and many people do. The thing about this though is that once you finally have these characters and they have personalities, because personalities really make characters, people fall much more in love with characters. Sometimes the community can, point out things like one pose on Tracer on the left isn't Tracer and the pose on the right is actually more of a Tracer pose. One is trying to be her being too sexy, the other one is she's actually just being sexy. In this case right here, this is Total Drama Island, and I really have to give a shout out to the designs here because it is, I read this on a Reddit post, is one of the best, well-designed, most diverse cast cartoons of the last probably 15 or 20 years. Again, having different types of body types. And if you're doing 2D animation for games, check out Total Drama Island. Really good to look at. However, I love the show and the characters. I hate the premise. It's about a reality show. It's awful premise. Great designs, awful premise. Great acting too, I think. Awful premise. Anyway, coming back to this idea of different body types and designs, we look at something like Darkest Dungeon, which you should check out because it is a 2D game that uses similar animation techniques that I will be using. Look at all these characters. They have different body types, armor, skins, and weapons, and they don't look the same, and people read these characters differently, even though they have different names within the game. The other thing you want to also take a look is that when you design characters, especially for me, like women, because I'm a man, and it's you want to look and see how do real women dress in the sports or the things that your character does. So I looked up real female boxers, and I noticed, wow, I think they're hot, but a lot of them are actual real boxers. They have muscles, so forth and so on. Finally, this kind of came throughout my design. I realized after making different drawings and thumbnails and sketches that I really wanted to get some of the roller derby rink stuff in there. So I looked at some actual pictures of what do these women look like for my female character. Again, this really helps stop accidentally objectifying or stereotypifying female characters. Finally, I want to talk about copyright stuff. I typed in Power Suit Betty in Google Images, found my favorite comedian Betty White from Golden Girls. Did not see any Power Suit Bettys. There's no trademark Power Suit Betty. I even went to the Copyright Office, did a search on them, and found, yeah, there's no character named Power Suit Betty, so this is good. So this is just a process on how you can actually find to see if the character's name you thought of can actually be claimed under trademark or copyright. You can just look these things up via the internet. So finally, we come out to the design, and as you can see here in the original design, I definitely focused on, yeah, she has boobs, and that is a big part of the character, how she moves, who she is. Just like based off of real women I've met. So my design in the armor really is going to show her boobs. It makes sense because this is a power suit. This is not a battle suit. It's part of her backstory. And again, she's gonna be hot, so she's gonna be wearing less clothes. I had an original tank idea. I scrapped this because I thought, you know, she is a tank character, but I did want to have a mech of some sort. So I finally did go with a boxing robot frame kind of, or she converts like this robot frame into a boxing robot because boxing was her hobby. And the thing about this design though is unlike the second design, it's going to be more animation, right? Animating wheels is easier than animating a fully moving character. So note that again, consider your design when you're sketching or when you're hiring someone and how much time that will actually take to animate, put in game. And this is going to be very complicated with the ARM system. And talking about the ARM system, in the final frame, you know, the key frame of this animation that I'm going to make, I really had to consider how do these robotic arms work. And so the thing about it is that, you know, you can have, I looked at real robotic arms, some controlled literally by a mind, through mind controlled robotic arms. Those are real. And I realized that it's not for me. The design itself was too hard to put onto the design I had. So these robot arms just literally didn't fit. I tried for maybe an hour to 2 hours of just drawing and erasing, as you can see here, trying to get these arms to work, and it just didn't work. So here at this point, I just love this pose. This pose helped me figure out how the arms would work. Again, you want to kind of consider 3D elements when you're drawing in 2D, as weird as that may sound, and it will help you really figure out, you know, the internal logic of this system. And so finally here, I built a system. In the world, they have 3D print technology, and these power cord systems, basically it prints the amount of cord you need and then kind of deletes and retracts that cord based on what I know about real muscles. This design without this magical technology obviously won't work in real life, but again, this will convey to the player and about the game world, and it just has to have enough internal logic. Like steampunk has internal logic where it doesn't have to make sense, but it still has to be functional enough so people can see what's going on with the tech, especially if you're going to be animating churns like I am for a final punch. Finally, I did silhouette. The silhouette method is basically you kind of draw and line up all your characters to see if they are different silhouettes. And Power Suit Betty, yeah, she is going to be the tallest character, and she's going to have, again, big boobs. Many women I know with big boobs, they have to deal with a world that affects who they are, and they're comfortable with it. Compared to my standard characters I usually like to draw, this is another character I'm working on where she has like I like A-frame bodies. That's the body type I draw all the time. I ended up really going with trying to really push this idea of a more bustier, more like muscle-bound character, like a boxer. And then the other thing that I did too is that I compared, you know, looking at the other characters that are finished. Again, I'm comparing it like, you know, how they look and or their scale on what the size is going to be. And then, you know, in this character, I started with a male character. I don't know why. I just did. And interesting enough, in the program, I can actually switch these body parts and change them up. So again, here again, because I do physical drawing still, I put the two sketches together. And the big thing you want to take from this is scale is important, because you want to know your pixel ratio scale to what you're creating. Because again, if the characters are too big, they're going to take up too much of the level. If they're too small, then the person won't be able to see them. This is a shout out for our group marketing cheat codes for game developers. You can find us on Facebook. If you want to have some tips on how to market your game, Swenny started the group. I help run it. That's just a shout out to our group. I hope to see you guys there if you're interested in this type of stuff. Making quality games and connecting to people. Finally, I'm just going to say that, you know, again, I know people, I looked at the comments and I saw that people wanted an Inkscape tutorial. I will do that next week or in 2 weeks. So the next time I do this type of presentation, I will actually talk more about Inkscape, how I use it, how I'm going to convert this this image into an Inkscape image that I can then animate. So this is all going to be steps. Next one is going to be Inkscape. After that, we'll be talking more about animation. And I'll just keep these coming until I finish these. And hopefully people can, you know, like, subscribe if you like this content, or comment if you want to see, if you have any questions or you want to see anything particular. This week has been about character design, so I'm going to open it up on the Facebook group that's related to Construct 2 about character design. If anyone has any questions about it, notes on how long it takes to learn how to draw. If you think I'm a good artist, that's awesome. I think I'm an okay artist. It's taken me about like 20 years of my life, but a lot of that time was wasted because I didn't have like good resources that there are on the internet. So a lot of my art has improved because artists, material, reference is all out there. So I really feel that someone, which a lot of kids actually, people younger than me, can learn how to draw within probably a year to 5 years. Be really professional looking. Again, a year you could be a professional artist to 5 years, just depending. If they really just look at the resources that are out there. All right, so that's enough said. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. You know, do the YouTube thing or do the Facebook thing, however you want to do it. And the way we say this or end these videos is play it forward.